What's up, guys? Enkiri here, and today we're going to review a volume upper body workout that I knocked out just last week. Now, it was a damn good session overall, and the primary focus here is just building my way up on a few key exercises in the traditional hypertrophy rep ranges primarily, and then finishing things up with just a little bit of extra work for the biceps and then for the shoulders as well in a relatively isolated fashion. So I kick things off here with a pairing of the Larsen press and the neutral grip chin-up. Now, I'm primarily using the Larsen press here just as an assistance lift for my weighted push-ups. And for the push-ups, currently I'm also using a relatively high volume approach, and I'll show you guys one of my push-up workouts in the next week or two. But right now, for the push-up, I'm really just focusing on really high quality, high volume repetitions through a very large range of motion, pretty much the largest range of motion that I can get on a push-up personally. And then my plan from there is to taper the reps down gradually and increase the weights pretty substantially over the next couple of months. And so these Larsen presses here serve as a nice assistance to that long-term goal. No leg drive, a pretty large range of motion on each press, a brief pause on the chest, and I end up here with 44 total reps spread out over the course of 4 sets using 170 pounds. So that's really not too bad of a turnout at all. Now, I hit 245 on the Larsen press very easily a couple months ago, and my current estimated 1 rep max is around 265 pounds on the Larsen press specifically. So this particular weight here that I'm using, 170 pounds, represents about 65% of my current estimated 1 rep max. And I'll take some time here and I'll build this lift up slowly while going no lower than 8 reps per set at any given time. And I think I can probably hold around an average of 10 reps per set with maybe 10 or 15 more pounds on the bar here, right? And then once it gets up to about the 190 or the 200 pound range, so 20 or 30 pounds higher than what I'm up to right now, then I'll drop it down to around 8 reps per set. And that'll be using roughly 75% of my 1 rep max at that point. So that all makes sense. But I won't be getting to that point for a little while. Like I said, I'm just going to take my time here. And this was my second week using 175 pounds, right? I started the block off with 165 pounds. I used that weight for 2 weeks before I jumped up to 170, which is what's shown here. And I may stick with 170 again for a 3rd week. That actually would be today's workout from the time that I'm filming this video. And then after that, I'll go up to 175 pounds in the week that follows. Either way, though, in total, you'll be looking at about 12 to 16 more weeks just like this with this style of work here, where I'm going to be tapering down the push-ups and very slowly building up my volume on the Larsen press while only increasing the intensity on the Larsen press just a little bit. And then at that point, I'll either rotate the Larsen press out of the program altogether, or if it's still feeling solid, I'll just switch the priority of the 2 exercises, and I'll make the Larsen press my primary pressing exercise, and then I'll move the push-up into a secondary position instead, and that will allow me to attack some heavy weights on the Larsen press again, and maybe go for a PR single or something like that. And then I've got the Larsen press paired up with some neutral grip chin-ups, and I'm just using body weight on these for right now because the setup for these isn't really ideal. I'm using my dip handles to make the neutral grip handles, and I've got them set as high as I can on the squat rack, but it's still a little bit low, which is kind of annoying because I have to keep my legs bent at a certain angle, otherwise they hit the ground. But the perspective that I'm looking at it from is that it's forcing me to keep my abs engaged for the whole set while I do these chin-ups. As long as my knees are up a little bit and my legs are out in front of me, right, I can focus on keeping my abs flexed tight, which reduces the ability to kip and it reduces the ability to cheat and all that, but it also hits the ab muscles, which is never a bad thing. 2 birds with 1 stone and all that crap. But the main issue for me here is that the grip with the dip handles is actually a little bit wide for my preference, a little bit wide for a neutral grip chin. I prefer a narrower grip when I go neutral, a little bit like a close grip chin up, but using a neutral grip, which is probably one of the best ways to do chin-ups. It keeps the biceps involved, but it reduces the stress on the elbows, which once you've been in the game for a long time, finding little tweaks like that is pretty important. But so this is the only way that I have to do this exercise at the moment, and I'm just basically making do with the best that I can of a kind of a bad situation. And I may actually invest in a tower or a new multi-grip pull-up bar in the future, because I really do want to be able to focus on doing some heavier neutral grip chin-ups. And the setup that I'm using right now makes that kind of awkward. So I'm not really going to go heavy when I'm doing them like this. But we'll see what the future holds. I'm kind of running out of space in the garage, so I can't really house much more equipment at this point anyway, and I'll need to be a little bit more discerning with my equipment purchases moving forward in the future. So all that to say, though, I'm really just focusing on volume here as well, similar to the Larsen press. I'm pretty much just focusing on leaving a rep in the tank, maybe 1 or 2 reps in the tank, at least initially on the earlier sets. And then after that, all I'm really trying to do is just beat my total rep count from the week prior. So last week when I did this, 4 sets, I got 60 total reps over the 4 sets. And then this week I did sets of 20 reps, 17 reps, 15 reps, and then 14 reps on 4 sets. So that's 66 total reps right there. So I beat last week, and that's a good result. And I'll probably be able to keep this up for a few more weeks like this until I start to stagnate and plateau. And so then at that point, I'll add a small amount of weight, honestly, probably just 5 pounds to start here. And then I'll repeat this same process again, and I'll take it as far as I can that way. And then for my second exercise pairing of the day, I moved on to the dumbbell overhead press, which I paired up with regular old straight bar curls. I did 4 sets of each exercise here, and I was going for 8 to 12 reps on the overhead press. And then on the curls, I'm not shooting for any rep range in particular. I'm just trying to do 100 reps in total. I don't start with 100 reps, but I build my way up to 100 reps over the course of a few weeks. And I'll explain that in just a second. But so for the overhead press, this exercise will probably stick around for a few weeks like this. It can only last for so long before something like this starts to plateau. And then I'll probably switch to, I don't know, neutral grip overhead presses using my trap bar or something like that. And then I'll probably go back to a straight bar and hit some volume work that way. And then from the straight bar, I'll segue that into some heavier, strict overhead pressing. But my plan here is really just to get back to push pressing. That's the only real overhead work that I actually care about, and that's where I actually have strength goals that I want to achieve. But first, I want to build up a base of shoulder strength and shoulder stability, because I haven't push pressed in nearly a year now. I left off last March, it was either March or April, I can't remember, with a solid PR triple, 255 pounds on the push press, and I'm still gunning for a 300-pound single there, which is my ultimate goal. But unfortunately, it's still a ways off. I'm just not strong enough right now to do that, and I fucking know that. I need more overhead strength, and honestly, I probably need a little bit more leg strength and explosiveness as well to be able to heave that shit overhead and press it to lockout rather than dip back under it and do a jerk. I can already jerk more than 300 pounds, but I cannot push press 300 pounds, and that's what I want to do. But I'm not in any rush to get there at the moment because I know that I'm still a ways off. So right now I'm really just laying the groundwork. And then for the curls, these are really just for fun, just to see if maybe I can build some big arms after all these years. But all I'm doing here is working my way up to 100 total reps. So I started with the empty bar a few weeks ago, like 4 weeks ago, maybe 5, I don't fucking remember. I did that for 3 weeks though, I know that. And then once I hit 100 total reps, I moved it up to 50 pounds. I just added the 2.5 pound plates on each side, and I did the same thing. I worked my way up to 100 total reps. Took me 2 or 3 weeks or whatever. And now I'm up to 55 pounds, which is what I'm using here. And I did, I think, 25 reps on the first set, 18 reps on the second set, 17 on the third, and then 15 reps on the fourth and final set. I cut out one of the sets here because the video was dragging on for too long, but so that is 75 total reps there over the course of those 4 sets. And this was my first time using this weight. So next week, honestly, I'll probably be able to get 30 reps with it on the first set, just because when you're using such a light weight, the improvements can come on pretty rapidly like that at first. And then maybe when I do that session, I'll shoot for 100 reps. If it's not quite there, I'll try it for a third week before I go for 100. But if I have to, I'll add in a 5th set just to get to that extra bit of volume, or I'll do some rest pause style reps just to try to hit 100 reps in total if I feel like I'm starting to stall a little bit and I'm not going to be able to do it with 4 normal straight sets. But mostly it's just that the pump hits you so hard here when you're doing it like this that you can barely bend your elbows anymore. So that's really what starts to make it tough, especially towards the end there. But it's kind of fun, and I just want to see if I can get up to having 16-inch arms cold and 17-inch arms pumped with a few months of work like this. I've already done 16-inch arms pumped, so now I got to get 17 pumped. And then I wrap up the day here with the Lu raise, and this is an exercise used by Chinese weightlifters just to help with shoulder mobility, shoulder strength, and shoulder stability. It's basically an enhanced and, in my opinion, more beneficial version of a lateral raise. You get that lateral raise aspect with the side deltoid muscles primarily being responsible for abducting the humerus, but you also get some scapular movement, scapular elevation, which involves the traps as well as some of those smaller muscles in the upper back. And also you're taking the shoulder joint through its full range of motion to a position of full flexion overhead. So it's just got a lot more going on, and it's a lot harder to cheat because you have to get the plates all the way up overhead. And that latter half of the movement can be incredibly difficult. But if you can demonstrate good control here and pump out 10 reps or so, you'll really be feeling your shoulders in a way that you probably have not felt before. And I think that it's a great exercise, not just for general strength, stability, and mobility, but also as a means of building resilience and durability in the shoulders so that you can go the distance without suffering a major shoulder injury. And so, in my opinion, it's really worth adding this exercise into the arsenal just because of those things, no matter what your lifting goal is. Anyway, that's all I got for today, guys. Please be sure to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. And if you're interested in online coaching, be sure to shoot me an email at enkiri.elite@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to pass some more information your way. Or simply visit my website, www.enkirielitefitness.com, for more details. Keep training hard, and I will catch you guys next time.